Garja Girl boxing, man. This is crazy, man. This is so emotional, so nostalgic. It's just surreal, man. Like I can't explain this atmosphere. Like, being out here, at the weigh-in. Look, I done been to a few fights. Don P, what's up, bro? You gotta vouch for me and explain to the people like what's happening out here. Like this is an extreme moment, a true mark in history for boxing, man. Like these two dudes, Roberto, jump in, bro. Sleep, where you at? Absolute Boxing, Nostradamus, what up, bro? Man, listen, it's just crazy, man, because I never ever had to pick a fight, and I don't want to pick a winner because I got so much respect for these two dudes and what they represent. True grit, true throwbacks. All right, let me put you in. True grit, true throwback. Two dudes that did it the right way, didn't cheat the system. Like, how can anybody dislike these dudes? Yo, bro.
Yo.
What up, bro? What's up, bro?
Live, Curtis, on location.
On location, bro.
Whew, man.
The weigh-in was crazy,
there,
bro.
huh?
I never seen anything like this, bro. Like the atmosphere is just like, it's surreal, man. It's crazy. And look, we done had, Floyd done did monumental stuff, but like I always tell people, we talk about this all the time, and it's not Floyd's fault, but he didn't have a contemporary.
Yeah.
Because he was so talented and so better than everybody else.
We were hoping somebody would be that guy for Floyd, but it kind of never, not at this level, though. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? It's like Zab. Shout out to Zab, a friend to the show. But Zab had lost to Baldomir the fight before they fought.
Oh, flashback. Sleep Dizzle.
Roberto Flack, what up?
Man, what?
Coltrane, welcome back to Garja Grill Boxing.
You forming like Voltron.
Oh,
It's just,
man.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Loud and clear. Did you know how to get in?
Yeah, I'm here.
So for people that don't know out there, that guy that you see in the bottom, where is he at? Where are you at, on the right? Because the boxes always get confusing.
On bottom left one, y'all.
Yeah.
Bottom left, okay. But the guy in the red shirt with the nasal voice, this is one of the co-founders of Garja.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh. Bring the throwback out.
Wait a minute. I have it here. Hold up.
Yeah.
You got
You
the
know
red
what we
joint
doing
too.
here?
I got the red joint too.
The foundation.
Where them T-shirts at? Remember what we won. I see you
I have it
flying
in the room.
I'm still sitting on.
Rasheem said, what's up? Rasheem Jefferson.
Yeah, our first interview in this basement right here.
Yup. Hey, Rel, that was the basement you was in right there. You was a pup. He was a pup. He was like 19.
We
something like
didn't
that.
even know what we was going to do. We was like, yo, we got a boxer coming over.
That's when he was rich and famous. Rasheem, rich and famous Jefferson.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Rel, people get ready to see what's coming down the pipe. He already making a lot of noise on the training level. Beautiful mind Rel got, and I can't wait to see what's next for him. Iron Scribe, what up, my brother?
Yeah, what up?
You see, you like that.
Strictly business.
Parish making dollars.
Strictly business.
I thought it was fitting. I'm on a business trip. This isn't a pleasure trip. This is a business trip.
This ain't the Hit Boy album.
No.
This is that Nas Primo album we want.
Yo.
This is Nas Primo. This is Nas Primo album. This is the album we want. This is what we want. This ain't the Hit Boy production. This is what Nas gotta do.
Chill. You gotta chill on that sleep. The Nas brigade.
Hey, I'm a OG Nas fan. So I don't have a problem with that. I gotta give y'all my disclaimer. I just got pulled out of a cave by Coltrane, so we're gonna have a lot of little parallels and bars, but I don't know the sensitive nature of the live now, so You know what I'm saying? Like everything is just a play on words, man. But y'all get the parallel. We don't want these Nas Hit Boy albums.
Nah.
Like, I mean, it was good. It was good at first.
Roberto, tell him,
No, what
Roberto.
are we talking about? Day one. Day one.
He
Like,
won't give us the record we want.
Yeah.
He won't give us our record. Why not? You know what I'm saying? So
I'm
Bud and Crawford is what we want.
Right.
I mean, Bud and Spence. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Yeah. So it's for us. This is for us.
It's funny that you brought that up because this feels like, and I was telling you before we jumped on the live, this got an old school feel to it.
Right.
I feel like it's more of a blue collar crowd out here. I was telling Roberto, the feel out here and the way the fight was priced, it didn't price out the everyday working person. So the crowd is just like almost like a football, like a local high school football game vibe. You know, I came down here on a plane. Everybody was arguing the whole 5-hour plane ride about who was going to win the fight. Like, it's just the energy is just crazy out here, man.
We haven't had a fight like that in a long time, man. I mean, we've had ones that were maybe portrayed that way, but this is like the real McCoy, man. Like, this is like the real deal, man. Like, this is as good as it gets, you know. And even in the last era, right? Like, because we're technically in the new generation. You know, when we talk about like the Mayweathers and the Cottos and those guys, that's like already a generation past. But we didn't have a fight like this in that era. I mean, I'm trying to think of what
it was supposed to have been the Oscar Trinidad, not two African American fighters, but for all the
right, yeah.
Oscar Trinidad, that was the last one.
That was the last one, and it's a shame because again, I want to just spin back to Floyd. Timing was messed up with everything. He was at lightweight, and then he moved up. Shane jumps to 47. He skips 40, goes straight to 47, and kind of started his own reign. And then he started taking these, I'm not going to say crazy fight. He was daring to be great. We called him crazy because who would take Winky Wright, Vernon Forrest,
right.
you know, the type, those type of fights. But, Shane was daring to be great. And, he got losses against other great fighters, but while all this is happening, Floyd is beefing with Top Rank. Shout out to Oscar.
Oscar was doing it too. They was jumping in the fire. You know what I mean?
They was jumping in the fire. So Floyd was beefing with Top Rank, trying to get out his contract. He had that going on. And I remember Floyd said, I will take anybody from 35 to 47. Remember that was like his throwaway line? Like we taking any fights 35 to 47 because he was frustrated.
Yeah.
Because he's watching all these guys that he's better than get these big fights. So by the time he comes to welterweight, a lot of damage was done already to some of these guys. So these fights didn't have the same, the mystique that this fight. Zab Judah was the last undisputed unified champion at welterweight. But remember, like we talked about last night, that was the 3-belt era. Now it's the 4-belt era. So, and Bud, this will be his second time doing it if he wins tomorrow. So it's so much history that's on the line. That's the word you keep hearing, history. So it's just crazy, man. But here we are.
Yeah, man.
Sleep is itching. Look, sleep is itching, Roberto. He like the MC.
When I saw your video, it was like they ducking my wreck. I told Train I'm coming out of retirement for this fight. I told him I was coming out of retirement.
He like Eminem with that. He Eminem with the Renegade beat. He been sitting on this Renegade track. He trying to do me like M did Hove.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
All right, let's run it. Let's run it. Jay Chef, what's up, little bro? I don't care who's first or who's last. Go ahead, Sleep, because I know you got a lot to discuss. Go ahead, man.
I mean,
I heard a dope beat.
Listen, we was talking about Nas, right? So I remember the first time I heard New York State of Mind. I heard New York State of Mind the same day I heard Lyrics to Go by Tribe Called Quest.
Hold on real quick.
My homie brother brought like a bootleg of both of those songs. And I was so floored. At the time I was rhyming, I didn't want to rhyme no more. I was just like, this is the most advanced music I've ever heard in my life. So Trey remembers The first time I saw Bud, because I saw him first before I called him.
I remember.
I was like, yo, it's this guy that looked like Sweet Pea knocking people out. I was like, you got to see him. I was like, it looks different. When you see the ones, it freezes you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when we talk about, now I'm gonna go back to hip hop. When certain people came through the door, the game froze. Other people, the game didn't freeze. Nas froze. The buzz was crazy before he even came out. Snoop froze the game. Certain people freeze. The game freezes and it changes directions. Rakim, it changes directions. The trajectory of the game changes. Like when they come through the door. Like, and I think people don't understand that Bud is one of those ones. Like all I'm hearing, I hear the same, it's the same narrative, whether it's from professionals, whether it's from everybody I talk to. He gonna break him, he gonna wear him down when he starts telling. They just telling me this one thing. But Bud has these dimensions, man. Like, and I think Bud is truly a legendary fighter, and we're gonna see it tomorrow. We're gonna see it tomorrow. Like I look at Spence like a F-150, like, you know, pickup truck. He gonna drag you up that hill. You can put whatever you put that fucking that back. You'll be on Instagram. We cursing and shit, right? Where we at now? This ain't YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Like when YouTube started, we was keeping it clean for a second.
No, go ahead, rock out.
All right.
It's after hours. It's after hours. It's the after hours spot. There should be no kids up this late on the East Coast.
By the way, do they know how early we was in the game with the podcast? We didn't even know what a podcast was.
So listen, Roberto, look, I'm laughing at that clip art you got in the background because people don't realize all we had was a Muhammad Ali poster, a punching bag, and a camera like you would use to shoot a movie with. And what was the most important thing, Sleep? We had to get the takeoff in what? 10 minutes. That's all we had. Because back then,
that's right.
Remember, you couldn't upload more than 10 minutes on YouTube.
10 minutes.
So I had to get my bar off like this.
So these guys, they would ramble, right? And I was like sitting there like, y'all gonna have me editing all night. So I would have to break all this down to 10 minutes, but then it would take all night to upload on YouTube.
Yeah.
The upload speed was so slow back then.
Yep.
2007. That was 2007.
12 megabyte speeds.
Yeah, the upload was real slow. So I look at Spence like an F-150, like a real strong engine that's gonna keep pushing no matter what goes on.
So who you compare Spence to from yesteryears? If you had to compare a fight to this fight, what's a good, where can you draw some blood from to make the parallel?
I don't think he has the power of Hagler, but the most person you can say like a Hagler, but I think he's it's more a war of attrition with him, where Hagler might have had more pop in his punch. You know, he could switch a little better, but I'm never going to disrespect him as say you know, the plotting people like Margarito and stuff like that. But that's probably the closest parallel I could probably. So who do you see?
I think I said Spence. I think he and shout out to Iron Scribe who was in the thread. He compared him to Alexis O'Greo, and when he first made it, I had to pause for a second, and I was like, I can kind of see that because guys like that. They make hard look very simple. So when you're doing something complicated and making it simple, it doesn't look like it's complicated. So Alexis, like Errol, very fluid with their punches, very neat. You know, kind of long arm. He was a lengthy guy too. You know, I think Errol's more athletic than Alexis, but I could see the parallel where. The way the punch placement, the way he set up shots, not that they fight exactly alike, but again, it's Errol does a lot of and even for me, I was missing a lot of stuff. He's a guy you got to watch a few times to kind of really see a lot of the little nuances that he do. Where Bud, you see it right away. Where Errol is just this is these little subtle things. Like, you know, me and Roberto was talking last night, the step back off the up jab. You know, he'll up jab and then he'll step right back to get out.
Right,
You know,
right.
he uses the jab as it's like twofold, right? It's a power jab, but it's also a range filler. So if he feel like if it's not there, he does take a gradual step back, where a guy like Margarito, they just going to keep going, or Chavez keep going. Where Errol, he stabilizes his violence with that jab. So that's always like a get out of jail.
I don't ever want to disrespect him and say his name in the same sentence with those guys. You know what I'm saying? Because he has a super educated jab, like, and he uses it in various ways. But what happens when you take the jab away from him?
Well, yeah, well, we talked about that. Me and you sleep off wax. We said, listen, what happens if you take the jab? Because lateral movement, clinching, there's a lot of different things you can do to take a jab away from a fighter, and then turn him into more of a one-dimensional guy, or a guy that's more vulnerable, I should say, rather than one-dimensional.
That's what Shakur was talking about right after the fight. You know,
but you got Shakur reminds me of Kobe, right? He's like the closest boxer I ever seen to Kobe. He expects everybody to be on his level. So when he talks and breaks stuff down, Shakur, only you and 3 other dudes can probably do some of the stuff that he describes. So I hear what he's saying, but him and Bud don't fight nothing alike, because he's a defensive guy.
Right.
They don't fight nothing alike. But Shakur, Ward does the same thing. Look, I love Ward, but Ward would be telling people to do stuff that only like 5 dudes in the history of boxing could do. You know, but I understand what he's saying. I saw what he said, but what he's saying is right. You know, but it's all about having it play out. You know, of course.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So I'm gonna let y'all get to yourself.
Go ahead.
I can see this. I see this fight going 2 ways. Like, this is the way I've been predicting it for a minute. You know, I got Bud stopping him, and I know people say they never.
Whoa. You just can't just throw that out there like that. Hold up.
Yeah,
I want you to set that up. I didn't want you to just throw it out there like that.
So, all right. So, look, going back to the cars, if he's the F-150, like years ago, I test drove that Tesla truck. This is when it first came out, right?
The X?
It first came out, so I just test drove it.
The Model X?
When I was done driving, I was like, all my cars are stupid. The thing was turning itself on corners. The power, I never dealt with that EV power at the time. All these things was like, yo, this is a super educated car. Going back to the first time, like I was saying, the first time I heard Nas, the first time we see certain fighters in the past, you see athletes the first time, and it just looks different. I was like, I think we negating that Bud is one of those ones. I don't think it's just like people think he's just going to be the smaller fighter. He's going to get Brody. You saw Bud in person tonight. You saw his body. Even Bud is strong as hell, period. So we talked about this. That first round is going to tell us a lot in that first clinch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Bud is a lot stronger than what people give him credit for.
Spoon talking dirty to you. Hold up real quick. Hey, Sleep, we got about a little 25 or something.
Sleep, run it. Bro, you said
50, 25 case of beer, we'll be back. Sleep something.
$25, as long as it's not 2,500, but run it.
25 is better, Sleep.
We run it. Everybody's on this narrative. Okay. The F-150
not gonna get much back.
Once we take that
F-150, I'm gonna get a big war with the Nebraska guys tomorrow. I'm betting everybody at the Nebraska, everybody.
And you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with those guys, though.
You ain't lying, though. I seen him out here today. Bud got his whole. They out here heavy. Bud out here. They got numbers out here. They out here heavy. Yeah, they got numbers. Bud we got the whole Nebraska out there joint. I might wear my red Nike shorts tomorrow.
Look, so blue. I asked people. Most people say once he touch him, he's gonna. Same thing Spence been saying the whole time. I'm gonna break him. I'm gonna break his will. You talking about, and this is affectionately, you talking about a psychopath. We've been calling Bud a psycho from the door. You know what I mean? Because and it's a great psycho because he seems to get more focused the more angry he gets, and he loves engagement. But you're talking about breaking this man's will. If this man takes his jab away with movement, and he got heat coming back at him. He's not seen at 47. He got precision coming back at him, accuracy coming back at him that he's not seen at 47. Let's talk about the they both fought. We can talk about the people they fought, but let's talk about in comparison to the punch placement and counter punching ability of Bud Crawford. Has he dealt with that? So
No.
This is the way I see this fight. I see it going in multiple ways.
Sleep, don't get your prediction yet. Don't get. I want to get Roberto.
I'll let y'all cut in right there.
Yeah, let Roberto go. You flowing. Listen, you in rhythm. Right. You flowing. But I gotta get back. I gotta play the role of sleep. I'm on the track board. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
I got to turn your vocals down. Go ahead.
A lot of this fight is really, man, just timing. When this fight's happening, and there's a lot of intangibles, man, that we've talked, you know, that are kind of hard to ignore. And Sleep brought up a lot of points as far as what I've been saying about Crawford, man. I mean, from even before he got to welterweight, he was a special fighter, man. Like, you just see it, you know. And Errol Spence, man. I mean, look, he's not like, I wouldn't call him a one-dimensional fighter, like what people are referring to him as. He does, like you said, he has subtle things that some people do miss. Like, yeah, I see the step back, and he has a really good jab. And the thing that worries me with this fight, man, for Spence is just the fact that, like, something people aren't even mentioning is he's been out the ring 16 months.
Yeah,
I was gonna bring that up next. The layoff.
That's what I said, because Roberto, y'all both kind of mentioned that.
That was going to come in my second scenario of the fight. The layoff is why I'm thinking about the second scenario.
Yeah, man. And it's a big, and you think about, like, everything that happened in the lead up to when, you know, like the negotiations broke through or whatever. It was smart for Crawford to take that December fight, and people are like, oh, but I'm like, think about it, man. Like, he stayed active, you know. Yeah. Where now you look at Spence, who is the bigger guy, who everybody's saying, right? But he's had to basically not make weight for 14 months, and now he's got to make 147, as we saw. You saw,
right? I mean, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
No. So, I mean, I just think like Sleep brought up a lot of points, but I just think I think with Crawford, man, he gets noted like he's the small guy and everything, but he's been at welterweight for like 5 years. You know, he's acclimated. Yeah. I think the whole notion that he's like this small guy, like how people were looking at Tommy Hearns or Ray Leonard, the disparity's not that crazy, you know. And the night of the fight, would it be in Spence's best interest to balloon up crazy weight? Is that going to benefit him down the stretch? You know what I'm saying? So, man, I'll let Sleep go. I know Steve has another, because I want to get into something else, but I'll let him go first. So
hold on,
then I'll give my full prediction.
You brought up a good point, though, about when Bud took that tune-up, because the thing that people forget that is they were actually supposed to fight in 2022.
Right.
Remember?
Right.
Yeah. And the negotiations fell apart. So clearly they both been training for each other, you know, but Spence was training as if that fight was happening. And then, like you said, Bud didn't want to be rusty, you know, being a 35-year-old guy, and took that tune-up with Anna Beast. I don't know. Yeah. He took the tune-up, which I don't think probably nobody really saw that fight, but it was really nothing to see. But so he was still active, though. He got the rounds in. But no, that's all I wanted to just bring that up, how we got to where we at now.
I think it did him a service, man. And he got paid, and he got what, like $10 million off of it? Like,
yeah.
So it's like Bud fights in a lot of different, like, subtle styles, and the one that I think people are forgetting about, and this is like in the first scenario, like Bud gets in this rhythm when he figures you out, and he's kind of fighting half measure, like he's in range, out of range, and that's when he's usually in southpaw trying to clip you with that lead, you know, the lead right hook. And you know, in my first scenario, I see Spence ramping up like he normally does, that second half of the fight and getting caught clean with something, and us seeing him hurt or buzz for the first time. So that's what led me to, I guess, when we talk about our predictions, the round I predicted where something's going to happen. But the other scenario, talking about this 8, I've been having visions. I've been having visions, son. Like I just been like the last 2 days, I've been telling Trey, I was like, I've been having these visions. And I just been having these visions like a 90-inch, it ain't a 27-inch Zenith. It's a 90-inch Zenith in 2023.
Right.
I've been having these visions of Bud walking him down, man. Like the ring rust and also putting him on his back foot where we saw Porter having success at, you know, in phases of the fight.
Yeah.
And
it was in phases, yeah.
It was in phases. It was in phases. And it looked like, you know, and this is not, listen, this is not taking nothing away from Spence. I'm taking this side of the street to pick this fight. So that's why it seems like I'm talking about solely about what Crawford is going to do. But I find myself, like most people I'm talking to, most people they're picking Spence. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I've always believed.
I feel like
what do you feel like out there? It's like a 50-50 out there.
I was going to say. I think that. Yeah, I think it's really. I think it's been 50-50. You know, from I can really, speaking from a Guard Your Girl platform, people that I talk to, and I talk to a lot of really smart people on this platform, and it's like I get different responses from different people. That's what makes this fight so unique, is that it's never the same narrative. It's somebody will give one narrative about Spence that another will give about Bud. And it's just like, I've never seen a fight where you get the whole walk there. I think that's more national media, where the fight, a lot of the fighters are saying that, well, he gonna walk him down and break him. But other people, like the people that do like what we do, is getting more into like the nuances of, all right, if this go this way for Bud versus, you know, can he back Spence up? Because a lot of them don't talk about that.
Right.
Me and you talked about if Bud go to Spence body. We never saw nobody go to Spence body before.
Right.
You know, and we traditionally throughout the history of boxing, when you deal with a relentless pressure fighter, you always want to make them go off. You want to put them in the defense. We saw with Caleb Plant and Benavidez, one of the problems that Plant kept running into, he couldn't back Benavidez up off of him. You know, so they would meet in the middle and clinch, and Benavidez would get the better of those exchanges and those clinches. So that just changed the tides of the fight. So I want to ask both of y'all this, because I think that first clinch, crazy as it, you know, all of us, we big on clinches. A lot of people out there don't really understand how important this is. Shout out to Floyd, who always let people know off rip, like, you're not going to bully me. I think Bud got to establish that. Like, I'm okay if he body slams Spence. Like, you got to let him know you're not going to do that arm lock and punch me in my back stuff.
Yeah. You saw his body in person.
No, I'm saying tomorrow. I'm saying he got to do it. You know what I mean?
All right.
What do we talk about too? Like his wrestling background, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And all these clips of him, like, you know, wrestling these Ukrainian dudes and everything, and then flipping. I mean, he's strong. You know, that's what I was saying from before, man. People have this. I guess more the people that are like really hardcore for Spencer still looking at Crawford like he's a 140 guy. It's like, listen, man, if you think, you know, he's not going to have to work, you know, because I agree, that's going to be interesting when they're in the clinch. You know, it's like we brought up Floyd. Everybody looked at Floyd as this weak dude. They're like, oh, okay. I think that might happen tomorrow night too, man. I mean, they're both strong guys, but.
So I want to real quick, because a couple people in the chat chiming in. So Asante one up. He said Spence got to start off early and sleep. And Roberto, we talked about that too. One thing I don't think Bud can afford in this particular fight here is starting off slow.
Definitely. What Roberto was saying, he hasn't been in the ring for a long time as far as Spence. Like, so
yeah.
That second scenario, if Bud steps on that real estate and he establishes his presence early and makes him get on his back foot, this fight, I'm telling, and look, when I say this fight, I'm not saying the styles were similar. So people on here, don't lose your mind. I'm talking
Oh boy,
about.
I know where this get ready to go.
I know. I'm talking about the expectation of it. The person was supposed to be the boogeyman, and he got washed, and that was Corrales and Mayweather. Like, and I know it was he had the emotional things going on, but people was nervous. We was nervous for Floyd for that fight.
Definitely.
I'm telling y'all now, if it goes that second route, when he establishes that real estate, and if he pushes him back, you are going to see a disparity in skill level. I'm telling you now, you're going to see a disparity in hand speed and skill level, and you're going to see somebody get washed. Like, that's my vision I've been having for 2 days. For 2 days, I've been having him just coming straight at
So hold on real quick. Full disclosure, Sleep hangs with a lot of kids. So, you know, I like the kids, they just like, he getting washed. He's getting cooked. So these kids, he's an AAU coach, right? So this culture is influencing his brain. Like,
I get excited. Like, I'm just saying, like, it's either I had that one vision in the last 2 days. I was just like, yo, Bud might come straight at him. Like, and if they start exchanging and Bud landing in between and stuff, you're gonna see something that you haven't seen before because the rhythm has been broken. Like, if you just don't allow him in that rhythm from the door, then it's a totally different fight. If he allows him to gain the rhythm, I think he's going to have to win with a clip because I think Spence is going to be up if he allows him to establish that rhythm. So it can go 2 other ways, but my man, DJ Discipline, I got him in 9.
No, Wayne, DJ Bootleg Wayne, you letting Sleep influence you with this Corrales nonsense.
He's a smart man. He's a smart man.
Yo, so can I give my pick?
Go ahead.
Go run it, Roberto. Man, Mark, jump on, Mark. We got the mad scientists in the building. Go ahead, Roberto.
I've been running this fight in my head, like, again, like, things have happened in the last 3 years where, you know, you had to kind of make this shift of like, all right, well, how would this really play out now? You know, again, I can't ignore the accidents. I can't ignore the eye injury. And again, has Crawford been the most active guy, like, in a stretch? Not really. He's fought like once a year the last like 3 years. It's like I put all that on the table, you know. But the one thing that sticks to me going into this fight, that's why when we talked last night, I wanted to see how they looked at the weigh-ins. Who's going to be, with everything I just said, who's going to be in better form tomorrow night? Physically, like, everything intact. And everything Sleep said as far as, like, just the counterpunching ability. And I tried to look for a way where Spence can walk down Crawford and like what everybody's saying, go to the body and wear him out. But then it takes away from what we've been seeing at Terence Crawford this whole time. And he's not a guy that you're going to do that to. And the more I see this playing out, man, I'm going to hop off a cliff, man. I see Bud stopping him late. I see him stopping him late. And I think it's going to be where early on, it's going to be Spence applying the pressure and everything. And I'll tell you why. He's got to do everything early because I think down the stretch, Bud's going to figure him out, man. And I think he's going to set traps. And we talk about Spence's subtle movements, but Crawford too, man. He creates this distance where he knows, and he'll bait you. And I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to bait him. And we talk about the jab. I think he's going to figure out a way to take the jab away. And then there's going to be openings. And I think down, like, somewhere in the fight, we're going to see Spence, like you said, hurt for the first time. Like, legit, wobbled. Crawford's, if I guess if you want to put next to Tang, the best finisher in boxing, man. He's proven it the last 10 fights. And I see it happening again tomorrow night, man. I see this fight ending in like
we smoking. So what round, Roberto?
I'm saying 10. I'm saying
10.
like around 10 rounds.
I'm 9.
Ninth round.
Ninth round. So we got 2 stoppages, Bud, Roberto Sleep, and we got my man who doing tremendous things in the community, kids from the streets, good homes, broken homes, whatever, taking it back to the essence, training in his driveway. You know, he's also working in the gym. You know, the father of the Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, social media sensation, Lil Future, you know, who transitioned. He got accepted to play D1 college, right, Mark?
Yep.
So, Mark, the mad scientist,
Salute, fellas.
AKA, you know who you remind me of, bro? And it took me a while to figure it out. Sheik Luch from the Locks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You remind me of him. I meant to Ben tell you that, you know, but it took me a little while to figure it out. Because, you know, he always used to play the baseball cap to the back like you. So,
yeah. Signature, man.
So,
yeah.
Listen, bro, I already know who you picking, but they don't know who you picking. So now it's a nice balance to the discussion here. So I'm going to just give you the floor and let you run with it.
Man, I was just sitting here watching all the way to the last day, man. I just been watching Bud Crawford fights, Errol Spence fights. And I mean, me being a boxing coach for all these years and knowing what I know and some things I don't know, we can analyze, we could strategize, we could have our opinion. When it go down, that's when we gonna see who really got that, who really got. We could compare the Porter fights. We can compare how this one knocked somebody out, how that one got a unanimous decision. It really don't matter, man. Until they square up in that ring, that's when the truth gonna get told. For me, you already know, my brother, I cannot see, and this is what I always start off with, please. I can't see somebody, it's not to say it never happened, but somebody that started pro at 154 pounds and somebody that started pro at 135. I can't see that 135 beating that 154 pounder, even though everybody's talking about Terence, he's in the weight good, and I hear all that, bro. Errol a different monster, man. I hear the strategies of the distance control, setting him up. Man, listen, Errol done seen it all. Last I checked, he was the Olympian. So I think his pedigree is greatly underappreciated, man. I really, really do. I could be wrong, but I think Bud in trouble, man. I think that age going to show. I think that pressure going to be too much, man. That's just what I believe, man. Late stoppage or unanimous decision for Errol Spence Jr. That's how I see it. Yeah.
Sleep, you want to counter? You got a counter to that?
Listen, we in the. Oh, I mean that was a great take. We just it's the eye test, man. I think Train. It's a lot of Jordan haters in my neighborhood. Spoon is in the background. Spoon is still in the background. Whole lot of Jordan.
He's somewhere else.
And then a lot of the Jordan haters that ride with LeBron, they got issues because Jordan beat teams back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's the eye test, man. Like Bud is one of those ones. He's one of those ones, and we going to see it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. He's a 50, 40, 90 guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's one of those ones. And when he came out dancing like Holyfield about this forever. Ever since Holyfield knocked out Tyson the
there too. He was on stage
doing this, and he was dancing to that gospel music when he came in the ring.
That was gospel though.
Anytime we see a fighter doing that, we be like, oh shit. We be like, oh shit. When Bud came on that stage and the elation and the spirit that was in him, I was just like, and Spence want to talk about who made the fight and all those things. He seemed to, I don't know what Spence was talking about that in the interview, but Bud, man, this is Bud season, man. Like I just feel it. I just feel it, man. And just like I said earlier, it's going to be a lot of accurate heat coming back at him. That when you think about the people he fought, not taking that away from people because he fought better competition as a whole, but to fight that style and have that accuracy coming back at you by the best counterpuncher in the division. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to look like the first scenario is going to look like a Spence fight. It's going to look like a Spence fight, but when he ramps up, I think he's going to get caught with something that we ain't never seen him get caught before.
Well, let me ask all y'all something. Because this is something that we haven't touched on, right? Bud, by nature, is an emotional guy, right? He's very emotional. And that's what made him great, too. But can't you also, just playing the advocate here with that, right? Emotional guys, when they get in trouble, go back to being emotional. This is a fight, let's face it, right? This is a fight Bud wanted for a long, not just this fight, he wanted all those guys from across the street. And the fight before the Green Machine fight, when he gets dropped for the first time in his career, there was an interview that took place. And I remember texting one of y'all like, I don't know about Bud's energy tonight. Like, he's very upset. He said, I don't know what else to do. I want to fight these guys, but I think that this is just not materializing. So he goes out extremely emotional in that fight, and he gets dropped for the first time in his career. Now, he's been rocked. He's been buzzed before, but this was the first time he was dropped. So I say that to say, and I'm just asking a question. It's not an indictment. So when a guy has emotion, because he's an emotion, you saw it yesterday in the press conference, because I do think, and I told Rada this, Derek James is playing a lot of psychological games with Bud, trying to get a reaction out of him, because Spence don't talk. So Derek James is playing the Angel Garcia role, so to speak, where he's trying to get a reaction. And I saw somebody put in the comments down there is that Bud is the type of fighter that if he gets punched in the face or hit with a shot, he licks his tongue out, and then he gets kind of lured into a dogfight. So if that was to take place, because look, DNA is DNA. We can talk about all counterpunching and all that, but Bud is an emotion. So if that was to happen, how do y'all think that will play out? Do you think he tempers those emotions, or he gonna try to prove something like, oh, I got dog in me too, and we gonna dog it out?
Who wins the dog fight? Who would you take in a dog fight with them exchanging? Who would you take?
I think that favors Spence if they fight that style.
I'm dog fight. I ain't talking about Spence pressing him back to the ropes. I'm talking about them in the middle of the ring swinging. Who would you take?
I think Spence is more durable. Remember, I talked to you about durability, and I think for Crawford, this fight has to be like you said, in and out, spacing. I think in between, like that close proximity wise, I'm going with the bigger guy in that scenario.
But no, you gotta hear me. I'm not talking about the push jab, body banging you, corner. Spence doing Spence, beating the shit out of you. Spence working. I'm talking about dog fight, which Bud baits people in, and he typically it works to his advantage when he gets upset. But if them two in the middle of the ring, changing half distance, swinging and swinging, who do you favor in an exchange in that type of fight?
It's Spence, because Spence, see, the style that Spence uses is first of all, Spence works everything downstairs, right? That's where most of his clean, effective work is downstairs. And I just think when you're a body puncher, it might not look effective to the eye, but that breaks fighters down. And I just think that for Bud to fight that close, I think that's just giving the fight to Spence on a platter. Like, here, take it. Like,
it's
if you fight
pretty
that
much how
fight.
Ugas fought. That's how Ugas fought.
That's
Spence.
what Ugas.
Exactly.
I was going to say Ugas did that. He gave the fight.
Yeah,
Here you go, Spence.
Right to him.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I think Bud gets stopped if they fight like that.
But Bud is not. That's that phase of his arsenal that I'm telling you is his most dangerous phase, because he's not really.
Not against this type of opponent, though, Sleep. That may have worked with other guys. You can't do that with this guy.
That's the heat seeker mode. The heat seeker mode is when he's half distance, he's in and out of range, and he's using his reflexes. He's not right in front of you, but he looks like he's right in front of you. That's the heat seeker. When he gets in that mode, that's when he's comfortable and he figures you out. And that's when he's leading with the right and the southpaw, trying to hit you with the little check. It's like a heat seeker range mode. So when he gets in dog fights, that's when he uses the length and his reach of his arms. And that's the dynamic that I think a lot of people don't take an account for, because he's not in range. He's slipping, he's countering, slipping, he's trying to set you up.
You know what I'm interested?
Go ahead, Mark.
You know what I'm interested to see this just dawned on me. I think we discussed this last week. I forget. I might have been in the gym. This was very important. Beyond the two fighters, right? You got to go back to their corners. Interested to see who really takes command of Bud's corner when the heat get really turned up. Is it going to be Bomac? Is it going to be the little Mexican trainer? I don't know his name. And then I think it's a third guy over there that's kind of like plays like the manager role /
Well, bro, go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm just wondering when that heat get turned all the way up, and it's those middle rounds, and it's sort of like the crowd into it. Everybody sweat dripping, Bud. It might be blood coming down. Might be blood coming down on Spence. One thing I know about Derrick James' corner, he's the guy. Spence gonna be tuned in like he always is to Derrick James's commands, instructions, whatever. I'm interested to see is that corner of Bomac's gonna go a little bit haywire, because from what I hear, Bomac is the face of the corner. But when it's training camp time, I hear the Mexican guys the shit. So I'm really interested to know which coach is Bud gonna be here. Is he gonna be here? Is he gonna be looking outside the ring? Cause it's gonna get heavy, bro. When Spence bring it, you gonna have to knock him out. People keep talking about this Bud willing to die in the ring shit. Man, listen, man. I done seen it all, heard it all. I think you're gonna have to damn near kill Errol Spence too. That like I said, I'm stepping, man. You ain't got to look
classic. That's why we got a classic tomorrow.
I'm stepping.
Hey, Mark, somebody said, because I was confused for a little minute when the guy you talking about, they say he's not Mexican. You talking about the bald head skinny boy, right?
No, the little short,
chub, kind of like, not chubby, but
yeah,
but it's two dudes all in the camp.
The dude that does
it's
the pads with him, right?
You got the pad guy. He be arguing a lot with people.
Mexican in the comments. Everybody's saying he's not Mexican.
Yeah, well,
they saying
damn, they look like.
Oh. But anyway, I know I got what you're saying. It's a collection of people working, So you go on corner. Okay. I mean, listen, this is why it's a 50-50 fight. I think everybody got.
I like James. I like him. He's the only person that seemed rattled to me, even though it might have been the hype of fight.
I think he's playing.
I'm talking about the press conference, not the corner.
That press conference got crazy. That was some family stuff. I just came from that weigh-in, and I'm telling you, Crawford got.
I'm talking about he was calling him Big Mama. He kept calling him fat. He's the only one that seemed a little out of character. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, well, that's some internet. Roberto, no, like the Bomac stuff. He's feeding into some social media stuff, and it's first of all, Bud got like his whole family in the literally. Whole Nebraska. The whole state is here.
I love it.
I'm telling you, it was half that weigh-in was Bud people from Nebraska. They had babies running. It was little babies running around, like kids running around. I felt like I was at like a reunion, like a family reunion. Like that's why I said it. Just got like a high school AAU basketball feel to it. That's what it felt like in there. Like, because it's like some Texas. Because you got two Midwest. Well, Texas. What is it? Southwest, whatever it is. It's the South, but it's like the Southwest.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, that's what they call it. So you got like these college football towns. With Bach and Bud is like the local hero that made it. It really is a compelling story when you think about it. But the respect though that they got for each other, for me, like I love seeing that. You can see that. Because like I was saying, like you don't often get two black fighters of this magnitude fighting each other. Like it just doesn't happen. It just haven't happened in a very long time. And for them to kind of set the bar and the precedent for the Shakurs, the Devins, the Gervontas, because they next up. And I'm hoping, much as I love this, I don't want to wait until they 35 and 32 to see those guys fight each other.
Yeah. True.
And something tells me that we're not gonna wait that long for them. Like, I think they're gonna actually fight way sooner than that.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Hey,
So Devin is moving up, as you know. I don't know if you heard, Mark. He's moving up to 140 to fight Regis Progress for his title.
That's in October. Yeah.
So this year has been crazy. So now
this year's nuts.
I used to think, this year is topples everything. It topples. This has been the best year since what year? Like I can't even. I got 2013. That was the
Floyd Canelo, Danny Batiste.
Oh, that was on the same card, by the way.
Same card. There was a bunch of fights there, and then obviously the 08 was like that crazy year.
So the next big fight.
This year's not been crazy though. Like
and it's still not over. We still got fights that still need to be completed.
Yeah.
How about I'm seeing that Caleb Plant slapped Charlo or something.
Let's get that
fights happening outside.
Let's get it done. Let's get it done.
The two brothers fought. Like what's going on?
Hold up, Jamal and Jamal.
Huh?
You said the two brothers fought.
That's what there's a video of Maul getting there's been stuff going on with we've known it for a while, man. I think it's spilled over. I sent in the chat. I sent the video.
I saw the slap. I didn't see them. I didn't see the brothers fight each other.
There's like another. You don't see them, but the people that were there were like, there's this guy's wife, there's this person's wife, and everybody was like.
Somebody said she slapped. She slapped.
Yeah.
Him. Oh.
Yeah.
I saw the Plant slap. That's in our chat. I saw that.
Yeah.
So let's get that fight done.
He didn't even attempt to swing back. I don't know.
You saw that, right? He just like, I was like, wow.
Yeah, I don't know what was going. I don't know what was.
He was a delay. It was a weird dynamic. So let's maybe he was saving his hands for when he get paid for using them.
Wow, man.
Maybe I don't know. Was the other twin there? Usually it's the smaller twin. Jamel is the one that kind of
lunged at him, right? That was the other twin that lunged at him after the bigger one.
Oh, so they
was there, but it was a crazy. Like I don't know what led up to that, but that joint was crazy. Like this was all that. Here it is, Crawford and Smith. They fighting. And they was
outside the
way. They was composed and shaking hands and talking about spending their fortunes after this. Crazy. Well, get that fight signed. Get it on the books. We got December open.
Yeah,
right. December's wide open.
I believe that.
All right, bro. So Mark, Spence, Sleep, and Roberto got Buzz stopping Spence. I'm giving my prediction tomorrow. I gotta write it down. I'm not giving it on here.
The train is not too late to start admitting that you really
I'm not listening. I had a dream that Bud knocked Spence out in the 4th round. I just hope. This is all I hope.
Yeah, speak on the
dream. Please. No,
speak on that vision you had. Speak on it.
Bud knocked Spence out. He caught him with an uppercut coming in, lunging in. He caught him with an uppercut. He caught him with an uppercut. Spence was lunging in.
That's understandable. You was dreaming. It's all good.
Yeah, I was. Hey, look, hey, Mark. I woke up out of my joint like, hold up, because I'm going to be devastated if this fight is over in 4 rounds. I would literally cry. I would cry.
Like I would. 4-round war. You're going to enjoy it,
right?
No,
I think it's like a 5-round war. Yeah.
I think. Like me and Rala was talking about that. I think that greatest Hagler and Hearns was. I think a lot of fighters learned from not to do that.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they would do that. Like, don't get me wrong, that was great. It was that Hearns. That's probably was his only way to beat Hagler. But I don't think either of these guys they don't fight with like that type of abandonment. You know what I mean?
The best way to beat a pressure fighter is to put him on his back foot.
Hey, Sleep. Somebody said they want a cheesesteak from you in Philly.
That's my man. We got a cheesesteak bet, man.
Oh, that's for you. Okay, all right. I thought it was for this guy.
He
get
on his back foot. I'm not saying it's the same type of fight. Corrales, Mayweather.
This guy brought up Corrales.
He get on his back foot. Corrales, Mayweather. Watch.
I love Corrales to death, but Corrales had no jab or no technical fundamental.
I gave you my disclaimer when I
Not
said it the first
I
time.
love
I
Chico.
gave you my disclaimer. I'm not saying don't take it
All
literally.
haymakers. He was all haymaker work.
Hey,
There you go. I told you. I said don't take it literally. I told you it's about people thought that Floyd was going to get his ass beat in that fight.
I said, you tripping, Sleep.
See, y'all coming on late. Y'all coming on late.
Somebody like, huh?
Hold on.
They like,
Hear what I said
They
earlier.
like, bull, where?
Jason was good.
All right, man. Good. Yeah, good talking to you, man. But hold on. Everybody
all right, y'all.
got
I see you. Hey, Mark, I'm gonna hit you. All right.
Yeah, for sure, man. We got to get back on another one for sure.
Yeah. Oh, tomorrow night we jumping on right after the fight.
After the fight.
Bet.
All right, y'all. Y'all be safe.
Tomorrow.
All right.